Hello everyone, how are you? There's a storm outside now. It's really raining, so I hope that the sound doesn't interrupt the video too much. But I felt inspired to create this video today. So I want to talk about Kali again. I have a couple of other videos about Kali if you are more interested in this subject. And today I want to talk specifically about Kali, our sexual energy, and the sacred death. And if you've been following me for a while, you already know that because of the nature of my work, I don't advertise too much. I also don't speak about my personal life too much because I have the need to protect myself a lot doing this work from human and non-human entities. And so but something I do want to share with you is speaking of the Kali energy and the death, the sacred death, that I feel if we embrace more in our society, we can live more in our divinity and our power. So, you know, people who are more conscious, they're not more perfect. We're not more perfect than anyone else, but we go through death many times in our lives. And the more conscious you are, the more death you'll experience, the deeper the depth of the death will be. And so I myself have gone through another wave recently of this deep death, which mainly had to do with ancestral karmic energy. And so I've had to do this work for all my ancestors, and it was very strong, very scary, very powerful, very lonely, but also very important. So I want to talk about this more and you know, also to remind you all, because I need this reminder myself a lot of the times. It's when we go through this death, even if we know about this death, it feels like death still, and it's horrible. So I just wanted to remind you, to remind yourself constantly when you are going through these waves, through these cycles, to surrender to this death, to really be grateful for it, even if it's really hard in the moment to be grateful for it, and it is. So let's dive into it a little bit more. And, you know, I don't follow any religion. I don't follow any teacher, actually, any external information, because I keep my vessel pure to channel the information from the temple itself. But I do find that Hinduism is the closest attempt, you know, that humans have created to, in a fairly modern attempt, to understand God because Hinduism has many gods, many goddesses, and stories and tales, allegorical tales for each of these gods. And as you know, I always talk about stories and how stories are important for the initiation of our subconscious mind. It is literally a part of our inner initiation. The subconscious speaks to us in stories most of the time. So God is not this one image of a man sitting in the sky, punishing and rewarding us depending on how we follow other man-made rules and lies. God and source, or as I call her, the mother. And the reason I call her the mother, for those of you who don't know, is because the source itself is this eternal womb space, this eternal blackness that all life comes from. So it is a womb-like space. And so this is why source is a mother, and it is a motherly energy which holds all, men, women, children, aliens, flowers, plants, all of it. We all come from this womb. And so source has endless forms, faces, and expressions, just as many as there are humans, and even more. That is why we are all parts of God expressing itself. And let us not forget also the non-human. Again, like, it's not just humans. There are so many endless forms and faces to source, to the mother. Especially because it is, you know, the feminine that that births everything. The feminine has multiple, endless faces and energies, and sort because she's always in movement. And you know, the masculine is this endless consciousness, this silent, powerful consciousness. While again, the feminine is the subconscious. We can also expand our view on God's many faces to see other alien forms of, sorry, I just discussed it. So the goddess Kali is one of these many expressions, and she herself has many names. A very main primordial archetype of this force in our psyche. She is a highly important, misunderstood face of Source, what people call God, but is the eternal space of Source, again, what I like to call the eternal womb of the mother. The name Kali is derived from Sanskrit. It means she who is black, or she who is death. She is the goddess of ultimate power, of time, and as an embodiment of time, she devours all things. She's also a goddess of destruction and change in Sanskrit. In Sanskrit, Shaktism, sorry. She is a ferocious form of goddess Mahadevi, the supreme of all powers, or the ultimate reality. So this can really give us a little beginning image of what Kali is. I'm going to read this from this line that I read. I actually found it online. I don't remember the website, and I wish I wrote it down somewhere, but I'm sorry that I don't have it to give credentials. Kali stands naked, fierce, her tongue out, usually in red, her skin dark blue. Her right foot is placed on the chest of her husband, her hair wild, a necklace of human heads around her neck. In one of 4 hands, she holds a sword, which symbolizes all knowledge. In another, a severed head, which represents the death of ego. Kali's 4th hand is raised in blessing on those who seek liberation from the endless play of Maya, or the illusion. Kali represents Mother Nature, the pure essence of the feminine in her many forms and movements. She is wild, untamed. She is a symbol of pure sexuality, the pure life force of sexual power we all possess. Now, as the feminine who gives life, she symbolizes also the polar aspects of death. She is life and death, creation and destruction. This is the beauty of the feminine. So sex and death, let's talk about sex and death, right? Shall we? Have been both so distorted in our society. On one hand, we see distorted sex everywhere, just as we see distorted images of death everywhere. Right, we see it in movies and literally everywhere. We see the horror movies and zombie and just very distorted, unhealthy images of death, and put fear of death within our psyche. We are bombarded with images of violence in horrific ways from news and movies, and also we consume animals and disregard the horrible cruelty we actually pay for with money, which is masculine energy, by the way. We have become numb to violence, while our connection to the sacredness and beauty of death itself has been suppressed deeply. I want you to just be with it for a second, because it's so horribly distorted. And you know, most people, not everyone, because, you know, most people who have done plant medicine, for example, and I say most and not all, because not all people who do plant medicine receive the benefits of the plant medicine. A lot of people are not fully preparing for it and are not fully mentally, they're not going through their own inner initiation to be prepared for this union with the medicine. So, but most people have experienced a form of this sacred death when you take plant medicine in the right way. And it is sacred. There is so much beauty, power, and freedom to the sacred death, and to what the energy also that Kali brings us. I know, and same is for sex. We are bombarded in our society with images and videos of highly distorted sex from all directions. We're bombarded by it. While we have been so disconnected from the sacredness and freedom and beauty and power that sacred sexuality holds. And by the way, this includes the spiritual community and the Tantra community, which makes me so angry these days because there's so much inauthenticity and so much manipulation there. So you really, if you are interested in sacred sex, choose your teachers wisely and be very discerning, okay? Just like when our religious leaders forbid us to speak of sex, right? And they punish young people who explore their sexuality in healthy ways while raping children behind closed doors and making it another norm we have been programmed into. It's ridiculous. So we see examples of this distorted death and sexuality all around our society. This is just one example. If we haven't been programmed to see this as norm, we would have dismissed all religion by now after knowing the horrific truth that our religious leaders have made in the name of God. This includes blood sacrifice. Yes, a lot, most, I don't want to say all religious leaders because that would not be true. I'm sure that there are very, very few who are small community leaders maybe who are not participating in this, who maybe don't know about it and actually went into religion from a good intention. But come on, people. Most religious leaders are, I'm talking about the big leaders. They are participating in blood sacrifice, in slave trade, in selling and raping children and women, torturing people, burning the so-called witches. That hasn't been too long ago, by the way, people. And this burning of the witches is still happening now. It's just happening in different ways. It's happening through social media shaming, or you know, it's just beyond me how humanity has evolved so much in one way, but devolved so much in so many other ways. It's a little scary. So let's go back to Kali. Her nature is of life and death, of life force. It is pure life force, unwavering, wild, sexual power that is born from love, is born from truth, and the core of the feminine essence, right? The divine feminine essence. I'm not talking about the shadow feminine here. Kali is pure divine feminine. As one embodiment of death, she is in a way a symbol of existence itself. Humanity has been demonizing death because of the fear of it, but it is mainly because religion has used the fear of death to control humanity. So fear is a tool and which has been controlled to manipulate us and control us. They even banned, they ban sex, they banned free, empowering sex. Even in the religious society, like you have to have sex in a certain way that, your spiritual leader tells you how to, like, it's ridiculous. Like, and I've spoken about it in many other videos. I'm trying to be focused today. And so when we are actually, so for example, they also banned plant medicine, right? And it gives us, what plant medicine gives us is truth, is the ability and the truth, the ultimate gift to see and accept death for what it really is, not what we think it is, not what we've been bullied to think it is. So we can live truly free and a whole life. Because once we accept and love and embrace the sacred death fully, our life becomes just amazing. It becomes magical. It's not perfect. It's not all rainbows and sunshine, but you live a completely different dimension, a completely different reality once you accept death. You actually live free. It gives you freedom. Death gives you freedom, which is so ironic, right? Because we're so programmed to see death as this thing that ends us all. When we do not fear death, when we live in our full power, we cannot be controlled and manipulated. Same with sex, by the way. We'll talk about it later. When we do not fear death, when we learn to embrace it through sacred rites and initiation, from a young age, we are freed. And we really do need to teach this to young children. This is vital. And again, I'm not going to go into this now. I'm also working on a book on how to initiate our boys and girls, but that's in a long term. I have so many books I'm writing, guys. I know that I've promised them and I'm working on it. I just want to make it right because this information is so intense and I want to make sure I deliver it in the best way possible. Kali offers us the union with death. This loving acceptance of our eternal journey, which ironically do not end in death. She offers us a glimpse into the truth that there is no death, but we can only know this if we accept and unite with it fully. So there is a union, a sacred union we must come to with death itself. When I initiate women in the Sex Priestess program, and this is true for any true initiation, right? Don't fall for these, don't fall for fake initiations. Most people who say the word initiation don't even know what that means, okay? And no, you do not need to do initiation with me. My initiation for Sex Priestess is only for very few women, but all humans need initiation. True initiation. Again, we will become divine if we understand the rites of initiation again, and not the fluffy version that, you know, a lot of the spiritual community also talks about. So Kali, and by the way, Kali is one good way. If you find the way to truly connect with her and her spirit and her archetype, ask her to show you, to not to just show you, but to help you embody initiation and true wisdom and knowledge. She will show you. It's initiation is such a difficult thing to describe, especially in the English language, which is so limited. So initiation is an experience. It's like, you know, someone trying to ask me, what's it like to do ayahuasca? What's it like to take psychedelic mushrooms? You cannot tell someone what it's like. You have to give them the medicine and they have to go through it by themselves. Also initiation, yes, there are the basic understandings of what initiation is and the respect and the honor for it, but it's also a very intimate journey that each of us take. So my books, for example, are a small part of a self-initiation path. They're made to spark a little fairy dust, something in you, in your subconscious, to help you begin your own self-initiation. And that's why I try to write them as simply as possible. Also because the subconscious mind works on simplicity. We talked about this many times. So Kali is also known as the liberator of souls, and we can see why now. She offers humans the true freedom of our life force while demands us to use it with fierce integrity and love. So if you're trying to work with the Kali energy, go through initiation, and you're not in integrity and you're not in pure love, she will kick your ass. Excuse me, like being in air conditioners and with this weather, it kicks my ass too. Okay. So this is another quote I found online. Her energy is omnipresent. She purely represents the eternal, changing, moving energy of life. She is depicted as dancing all over creation. This dance, remember I always speak about the feminine as this eternal movement and dance. This dance represents the movement of cosmic vibration in which all things exist. Shiva, her husband, represents God in his vibrationless state. So again, the masculine does not have this vibration that the feminine has. He is this silent, grounded, unmoving energy, very powerful, unwavering energy, which assists the feminine in doing her dance freely and safely. And unfortunately, we have lost a lot of that within our men and women, feminine, masculine relationships. And I know that today's taboo to even say those words, men and women, but I am going to keep saying them because we are divine men and women. And until we accept our divinity fully, we cannot live in pure sacred union in this world. So, yeah. So her husband Shiva, he represents the masculine's pure consciousness. The depiction of Shiva beneath Kali's feet is also symbolic of the power of nature over humankind. Okay, so. Alrighty, so with endless faces and depictions, she has many forms. She has been depicted as many names, but above all, she is mother. She is protector. An empowering image that our collective psyche really, really needs right now. Excuse me. Really, really needs right now. And you can see how the divine feminine, the mother that Kali represents, she gives life and she takes it. She's life, she's death. And embracing both. Like if we don't embrace one, we cannot embrace the other. If we don't embrace death, sacred death, we cannot embrace life itself in its pure divinity. Kali and she, that's why, we're just walking zombies, most of us here. It's just walking constantly in the fear of death while we're absolutely controlled during our life. And it's very, very sad. It's thinking that we're free, but really having a mind prison. Kali and Shiva also represent together a healthy, aligned dynamic of the divine feminine and masculine, of sacred union. Kali is the dynamic, changing, raging aspect, life force, sexual energy, beauty, while Shiva is the silent aspect, the divine masculine, consciousness itself. Together they fulfill the highest supreme. They balance each other's powers out and they work together within the sacred union. Excuse me, guys. It is said that if you look at the gods with human eyes, you will see them as separate beings. But if you gaze on them with your inner eye, you will see that they are truly one force and also aspects of yourself. Kali is more naturally embodied in females. For the feminine is the nature of Kali, quite literally, ever-changing, loving, sometimes angry when justice is lacking. The feminine shakes us into awakening, unlike the masculine who brings us to source with silent consciousness. So you see how both have gifts and powers, which if we embody fully, again, we can live in our divinity and free. They both serve and reach source, but do so in different ways. As I always speak, the feminine and masculine have different ways of connecting, expressing, and uniting with source. But we both connect with source. We both are source. And when they come together in union, they also can enjoy each other's gifts and ways to connect to source again. So when this is what we learn in real sacred union, on how to fully embrace our own and our partners' divinity and powers, and together reach a higher level of connection to source. Kali holds the ability to give life and destroy it completely, just like the mother, the pure divine feminine, which is creation force. Some spiritual people think that the divine feminine is so calm and always peaceful. This is, by the way, the image that the religion has given us, right? Like that the woman, the feminine, she has to be submissive and quiet and peaceful. That is BS. That's one aspect of the feminine. But she has endless aspects and faces and expressions, right? And because we've submitted the feminine and women to be this like one face and one aspect of the feminine, look at us now. I mean, when you push the feminine to such an extreme, she's gonna fucking burst one day. And now, not only we have so many women who want to express their masculinity and their rage and their anger, which is a good thing, but we also have a lot of women and young girls who are sexually confused and are not, went to the other extreme completely. So I think we're experiencing and we're looking, if you have the eyes to look now at what's happening around you, there is chaos with our energetic fields. There is absolute chaos and confusion. And this confusion is a very calculated, evil agenda to destroy our power and our sacredness. And I will talk about it in later videos, and I've already talked about it before, but I'm planning to do a series of very important videos about this topic too. So again, some people think that, the feminine is just this calm energy and peaceful and silent, or they in fact, make the divine feminine to be, again, a submissive Eve type, right? Because we have the Eve and the Lilith kind of like polarity type for the feminine. Again, there's more, but these are the basic two. Whereas the divine feminine is ever-changing, everlasting. She is pure waters of love and pure flames of rage and death. She is all. She is everything. That is what the womb is. That is why we have a womb. It's eternal. It holds all aspects, all expressions, all life within it. The true deep rage of the feminine is more destructive of any dark masculine, which is why the dark masculine has tried to diminish, destroy, and distort the feminine for so long and demonize her for the fear of her true power. Because really, when a feminine is in her true power, she can be extremely dangerous, more dangerous than any man on the planet. That's true. But the irony is that when you don't respect women and the feminine, when you push women to such an extreme, you make them dangerous, because you're going to make them one day, just want to scream, want to shake things up. So again, this dark masculine world did not have any space for divine feminine or masculine, which is very sad. So again, Kali's image cannot die in our consciousness, for it is a basic natural aspect of our nature. No matter how much the dark masculine has tried to control and manipulate our true nature, it will always live in our psyche and will emerge in different ways, in symbols, stories. Remember, the subconscious works with simplicity, with symbols, with stories, and this is why these archetypes, these allegorical archetypes and stories, they are ingrained in our subconscious. No matter how much we try to destroy it. This is why stories are important. Like I, for example, love movies. If anyone knows me, knows I love movies, I love stories. And I understand I don't know how to describe it in words. I understand how stories shape our world and how they are communicating with our subconscious mind all the time. So not only that you have to be careful, of course, of like the books you read and the movies you watch, you have to really kind of pick them very carefully. But if you are watching something, know how to watch it with deeper eyes. Know how to watch it, not just with your conscious mind, but with your subconscious. Find the symbols, find the patterns, find the deeper stories beneath the story that you see in front of you. Hopefully that makes sense. And it really, it's not about making sense, it's about you feeling what I'm saying, because again, it's a feminine way of understanding reality. Those who are more conscious are naturally, knowing or not, always on this path of Kali. We are always on the path of Kali. We know that the path of physical manifestations must be that of a constant flow of life and death. Death has to be a part of our life for evolution. In order for a human to evolve, they have to go through a constant flow of life and death, of rebirth and death within themselves. This is, by the way, those like small self-initiating moments in your life, right? Initiation. The death and rediscovery of ego as more and more layers of it are stripped away. Also, the movement of life itself, which moves through incarnation after incarnation, yet is eternal and is one. Humans who deeply yearn for freedom from the cosmic play, the Maya, the illusion, know they must unite with their inner Kali, with their constant inner death and rebirth in this Kali energy. This is a sacred union in a way with existence itself, a space where all manifestations happen. This is why the real witches and wizards know all about this space and embody it fully. Even those who practice highly baneful black magic, because it is this space that allows true freedom and power as well as universal truth. So death, again, death, true sacred death, understanding death, embracing it, gives us true freedom, and it holds truth within it. And you cannot do magic. You cannot call yourself a magician, a witch, a true one. I'm not talking about fluffy versions of crystals and, yoga classes. I'm talking about real magic. You must understand this, and you must embody it, and you must live it. You must live death constantly, right? And in this beautiful play of life and death, within this beautiful sexual union within yourself of the life and the death. Again, it's very challenging to describe this movement and this energy in words. Words are extremely limiting. And I am not here to give you a more masculine, logical point of view. I am here to bring forth, even in the energy and the way I speak, and in being who I am, and this is why this information chose me and not someone else, is because I hold and I've done my own initiation, and I still am going through a forever initiation of embodying the codes of the divine feminine, of the mother herself. I gave my life to the mother. And so I cannot give you, and I don't want to give you the logical way of seeing and thinking about things. I want you to feel this. I want you to experience this. Whether you're a man or a woman, doesn't matter. We are expanding now humanity through the mother, through the divine feminine, by embracing the divine masculine as well. Of course, we must have the divine masculine. We cannot do it without the divine masculine, literally. So Kali gives us the gift of true source connection, eternal freedom, bliss, and magic. So ask Kali to show you the way to your true, raw, connected sexual power. Not the penis and the vagina version, but the life force potential we all hold. Ask her as well as show you the path to unite with death, with sacred death, not the violent, distorted version we all see everywhere. Now, speaking of death, I'd like to mention DMT and psychedelics a little bit more. DMT is the death hormone. We can produce it naturally in a dark room, for example, minimum of 1 week, through deep surrender and Kundalini mastery. Again, deep initiation, hours, if not weeks to talk about. So through Kundalini mastery, your sexual life mastery, body purification, and preserving and harnessing your sexual energy. This takes courageous commitment and integrity. Women can produce it easier than men and faster because of our natural ability for deep imagination and, of course, our wombs, and the fact that we are the subconscious, the feminine, and the subconscious connects just easier because we do hold the power of imagination in all life. It's not that we're better than men. We just, again, we connect differently. Our womb is the dark abyss of source. We literally hold it within our bodies. This is why women are more naturally already closer to source, because we hold it within our bodies. And by the way, religions also say this, especially the Jewish religion, but again, in a very distorted way, very unhealthy way. Going into pure darkness is a journey that will bring one to their pure light. Again, darkness, the womb, Kali, it's all the same. The DMT molecule can be awakened through darkness. How interesting is that, right? The death molecule, and again, It's all connected to the womb, to connecting with the womb space, connecting with the mother, connecting with the pure darkness within us to find the light, to fully embody our light. It's all very symbolic. This is a great journey to take to cleanse the body of any entities, by the way, but you must be careful because too much DMT can cause the spirit to also leave the body as well. And also create, you can create a little detachment from reality and madness. So always, do it in the right way. You have to prepare for this medicine, whether you're taking it externally or you are going into a dark room and trying to create it on your own naturally. Prepare, initiate yourself before using the death molecule, right? Cleanse your body. Don't eat death and don't eat animals. Don't eat animals. Don't drink alcohol. Be careful. Just be careful with all these things. Don't have sex with everyone. Cleanse your vessel. Prepare your vessel. You are sacred. You are not just a garbage bag that, you throw all the garbage in. Please. So you must prepare for this medicine, and any medicine, by the way. Have good support by people that you trust, and choose the right space, of course. Again, this is correct for any medicine. And have support during it and after it from people that you trust, again, and that can respect this process. And again, keep your vessel pure. I cannot stress this enough, and I will repeat this for the rest of my life. Religion has been blocking humanity's connection to the divine and taught us that God is outside of us, while psychedelics can be the key when used correctly with honor and respect and integrity to true divine connection with source. Clear, kind of focused, direct is the word I wanted to use, direct connection to source. These teachers show us, teachers meaning the medicine, show us the way to where God really is, which is within us. This is what Jesus meant when he said, know thyself. When we know ourselves, we can truly know God, source, the mother. But instead, we created an evil cult that takes power from humans using his image, right? Like a dude, a man, a male, like he was their spokesperson. Right? And this is about Jesus too, because like we take a man called Jesus, which whether if he was alive or not is not the point. Like he's a man. And he literally tried to say exactly what I'm saying to you right now, and what a lot of other spiritual teachers are trying to, and what really, I'm sure that Jesus was sitting somewhere, if this offends someone, I'm sorry, but I'm sure Jesus, if he was a real man, he was sitting somewhere in the nature, taking mushrooms all day, having sacred sex with Mary, and trying to teach people that God is within them. But look at what they did. He's probably like super mad at humanity right now, what they're doing in his name. And mushrooms, I'm going to talk about mushrooms too, because mushrooms are my best friends, they're my teachers. And no, I don't take mushrooms every day, not at all. The exact opposite is that once you're connecting with the molecule of mushrooms, with the energy of them, they are teachers. You don't necessarily have to eat them. I am already in a state where I just connect with them. I talk to them. Sometimes I do take them. I unite with them physically, but they are the main teachers of the mother, and they're suitable for most humans. I'm not saying all humans, because not all humans should take mushrooms. They're not ready. Again, you must prepare yourself to respect the medicine. But like the symbol of the snake, which I wrote about in my second book, Symbols of Sex Magic, the mushroom gives us with poison, right? It has poison, which we're taking into our body, which holds within it the cure. So the symbol of the snake is very connected to the mushroom as well, the sacred mushroom. It is a teacher of the highest wisdom because it takes you into yourself. Again, just like the Ouroboros, the snake symbol, which eats his own tail, you go into your own self. So that was it for the Kali video, the third Kali video. Again, you can watch the other ones as well on my channel. Yeah, I love you all. I am a priestess of the temple. I am a servant of the mother. And I wish and I pray and I live to see sacred union and the awakening of all human beings on planet Earth. You can check out my books if you haven't read them yet. And there are a lot of free videos also here on YouTube. May the Mother bless you, and may you return back to her womb safely soon. I love you all.